to get started with everything, we're going to start with Wolf with the tech news.
So today I have a lot to talk about, but I'm going to start with some smart glasses. So there's a new smart glasses from Meta that are in development that was showcased recently. The code name for it is Hypernova, which is different from the Orion one from last year, and it's developed in partnership with Ray-Ban, like the previous one. So this one has one screen for each eye in the top of the line model, but in the cheaper model, there's only going to be one screen on the right-hand side of the eye, and the display is going to be on the bottom corners of the glasses. So it's not going to be in the middle, and it's not going to be the entire screen. It's also an actual display, not a projected display. The other smart glasses that are coming soon are from Google, and they are using the same Android XR platform as the Project Muhan headset from before, and they're rumored to launch near the end of 2025 or the start of next year. This one, of course, has Gemini AI integration and is developed in partnership with Samsung. The compute for this one is different though, because it's handled off of the device. So you will be plugging in or using a wireless device on the neck to talk with the phone, to talk either with your phone or you can talk it with the glasses themselves. And they have a centralized and projected dual display. So this is not an actual display. This is a projector projecting onto the glasses. Now, this next topic, I've heard of having butterflies in your stomach, but what about having them on your body? So these are SlimeVR's new line of trackers. These are called butterfly trackers. These are official slime trackers. They have not been released. They have been announced. They've been announced yesterday, and the release period is predicted to be on the 2026 of March. March 2026. They're based on the small slime designs that I talked about on the last episode, and there are some specs for the device, but it is important to know that these are not finalized, and these are just the preliminary specs, so what we know now and what is on the crowdfunding page. So these use dedicated wireless dongles. These are similar in design to Tundra and Vive trackers, and they don't talk over the Wi-Fi anymore. It is directly to the dongle. The system that they use is different though, because they use enhanced shock burst or ESB to talk to the dongle, which is basically a better version of Bluetooth. And these dongles, as a benefit, don't share the same interference problems that SteamVR dongles tend to have. For example, them freaking out when you put them too close to each other or on a USB 3 hub or port, which is great. The dongles themselves can support up to 10 slime trackers paired per dongle, but there is some more testing required to see what are the actual final limits of how many trackers can be paired to a dongle. They also have a professionally tuned antenna, which is designed specifically for small devices, which allows it to have over 10 meters worth of tracking range from the dongle itself. The trackers have Velcro on their backs, which allow them to be attached to straps, clothing, anything pretty easily, but there are different attachment methods that are currently being planned in their development. The tracker itself can also be folded on top of itself if you, for some reason, would like less length and have more height in exchange. For example, if you're mounting it on your hand, you might find it more comfortable to use the folded design style as opposed to opening it up like a butterfly. There is a 24-hour battery life on a full charge when it's in use. It definitely uses less battery when it's idle, so the less you move, if you're, for example, sleeping in VR, it is going to last longer than 24 hours. And the actual charge time from an empty battery to full is going to be 1 to 2 hours. Currently, it uses the same IMUs and magnetometers as the official trackers, but this may be subject to change as the trackers develop. The tracking rate is variable. It goes from 1 Hz when it's not in motion and it's idle, all the way up to either 100 or 140 Hz as movement is detected and more movement is recorded. Now, this range, this maximum range, is still in development. So it could be 100 Hz, it could be 140 Hz. It is not decided yet, but that would be the maximum frequency for the tracking data. The size of the device itself is 62 by 32 millimeters and only 7 millimeters high. So it's a very, very small device, and each tracker weighs less than 12 grams. If you're interested in the project, you can back it on crowd supply, but I will note that the funding for the campaign will only begin in September, so keep an eye out for that. Now, let's get into some of the Steam VR compatible headsets. This one is the Pimax Dream Air. It's going to be coming Q3 2025, so relatively soon. We're talking like July and August, somewhere around there. It has a $2,000 base price, and it has integrated Ultra Leap hand tracking and eye tracking. There are two options for it. There is a standalone SLAM tracking version or a Steam VR tracking option, and it comes with two controllers, weighs less than 150 grams, has adjustable and automatic IPD, 105-degree field of view, and it has pancake lenses, as expected for most modern headsets. And interestingly, a micro OLED display that is 3,840 by 3,552 at 90 hertz. There's also an SE edition, which is half the price. It's $1,000, and weighs a lot less. It weighs a lot less than the other one, but it has a smaller field of view as a consequence. Same resolution though, which is great. This next headset, though, comes from the developers of the people who have made the Hardtoria X body tracking system and the Flip VR controllers. This is the Meganix Superlight 8K. This one's also coming very soon, and it is a Steam VR headset that is wired, and you might think of it similar to the other Big Screen Beyond headset that we came out earlier in the year. And this one is $1,000, $900 also, $1,900 with free shipping, but it doesn't have all the features that you probably expect from similar headsets. There's no pass-through, for example, so to compensate, the headset has a design where it can be flipped upward and downward, so you can look in the real world, and I think that's a little bit clunky, but it's just my opinion. It weighs 180 grams, is adjustable and automatic IPDs. It has 102 degrees of field of view and a pancake lens design, of course. Same micro OLED display, very similar to the one in the Pimax Dream Air. However, this does have HDR support, which I thought was really interesting. Now, this next headset is pretty exciting, and I'm sure you've probably heard of it, the Big Screen Beyond 2. This is the second edition of the same headset. And it's also coming very, very soon. They're all coming very soon. It's really nice. There's a lot of stuff coming out this year. And it's going to be another wired headset with Steam VR. It's 107 grams, which is actually 15% lighter than the original. And the base price is $1,000. However, you can spend $200 for an eye tracking module, $130 for the audio module, and $180 for the universal or halo straps instead of the regular straps to come with it. The size for it is really small. It's 14 by 5 centimeters, and it's also 5 centimeters in length, which is amazing. It has an adjustable IPD, but the way that you adjust it is not exactly the way that you do with normal headsets, where it's either automatic or there's a little slider. Instead, there is a small screwdriver-like device that you put in the side of the headset to adjust the IPD. It has 116 degrees of diagonal field of view, and it has a really nice lenses that are purportedly better than the Quest 3 lenses, which is really nice. The micro OLED display is the same as the original, so it's 2K for each eye and 75 hertz, but you can run it at 90 hertz if you use upscaling. However, you cannot do it with native rendering, so it has to be upscaled, unfortunately. There's 3 color options for the face shield that comes on the device. There's a black one, a crystal clear one, which is translucent completely, and a nuclear orange one, which is a limited edition and also costs $50 extra. So some additional notes for this headset is that this one also doesn't have a pass-through camera, which makes it complicated if you need to do stuff in the real world. You can't flip it up and down like you could with the Meganix, so you would have to manually just put it on your head and risk, having problems with the lenses or getting sweaty and whatnot. So I think it's a little bit problematic. And the lenses are also really close to the face, which might pose a problem if you have long eyelashes. However, it is compatible with lens inserts, and there's already mounts for Babel face trackers and all that sort of stuff in the works. So you can get a BSB and you can get face tracking on it pretty much instantly. I've also heard that the audio strap is okay, but it's not as good as something like the Valve Index's audio strap. So if there's some option to get an Index audio strap and put it on a big screen beyond, I think that would be amazing. But anyway, whew, that was a lot to talk about. If there's any questions about anything that I mentioned today or in general, feel free to ask in the chat or in the audience. Yeah,
I have a
that's all I have for
comment.
today.
I have a
Mm-hmm.
comment. I think it's super cool how you're like saying about all these headsets. I did do an assignment with Meta Technology, and it's amazing
Mm-hmm.
how they can just create the lightest, or they're even in the makings of making headsets that are even lighter. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, especially all this year. Like I didn't expect to see all of this until it was announced, and it's always getting lighter and then better resolutions, and like it's insane.
Say personally, I'm fairly excited for the actual headsets in general. I mean, I'm a very big VR connoisseur, obviously, with the amount of money I've spent on this free game, by the way. Um, so
It's like Fortnite.
I'm actually very interested in this. I mean, I was heavily interested in Big Screen Beyond for a good minute. My only issue is just the wire. If it had a
Mhm.
wireless option, instant. Whatever money I have, I'm throwing immediately at that headset. They are such a good
Man,
company. They actually listen to a lot of consumers, especially. A lot of the stuff that's been added to the actual headset, from what I've been hearing, is because of the community requesting those specific features. So they're continuously like looking to see what they can improve on and see what people would actually like. I really, really aligned with how their actual business is working. It's very, very nice to
especially the
see,
lens
especially with
inserts. Like I asked
yeah,
them about it, and they said, yeah, it is compatible with eye tracking because we thought of that. It's like, oh wow, people actually
Wow.
care.
exactly. It's kind of insane because, like, for me, like, I didn't realize I needed lenses for my headset for a good minute. I just got a Quest Pro over the past year, and I've used a Vive Pro Eye for the past like 3 years, and I've used glasses every day. Didn't realize that that was part of the reason why I couldn't read in VR because it was so blurry. So as soon as I got my Quest Pro, I got the new lenses. I was like, wow, it's so clear. Didn't realize I needed lenses that bad. So just having the ability to put in prescription lenses on these VR headsets, especially, is very, very nice, especially from day one. Having that day
Mhm.
one is so nice. So you don't have to worry about anything.
Honestly, I
But
can't wait until we get to like August and then all the headsets come out and people are like, this one's great, this one's horrible. And then we can
yeah,
finally make a
exactly.
decision.
I mean, personally, for me trying out a couple headsets recently, uh, yeah, it's you kind of need some really good reviews from people that are non-biased from what you're actually getting.
Mhm.
So it's very nice to actually find a couple content creators, either on YouTube, Twitch, whatever, that actually talk about these headsets without a bias completely. So just for the consumer ones, my personal thing is that I want to see people that actually use it daily. And a lot of people that review these headsets don't use them daily like us. I mean, I get on here for every single day throughout the week for about 8 hours a day, so I kind of want something that works really well for me.
And then the other problem is that like if it's something so new, then you often only have it for like 3 days, and you can like make a decent review on 3 days on a product, but I feel like you need a lot of time to like compare it, to figure it out, to just kind of like experience it. And I feel like it's difficult to do with so little time and so little like background, you know?
Exactly. So it does depend on the person and how they actually review their stuff. For me, when
Mhm.
I was doing my review for a couple different headsets recently, I had it for over a week. I tried every single thing I could to actually make it work. So I wanted to actually make it work for myself because I bought it. I'm the person who made it, who wanted it. So it's a little bit different when the people buy it for their own money because then, they give a lot more of a critique over the whole entire thing. The other thing I was interested in what you talked about, those new Slime VR trackers, heavily interested. If they have
They
fixed a lot of
they
the
literally
small
announced them, like,
issues,
less than a day ago. I was, like,
and
rushing.
as soon as
Like,
we're
"Put
done
that in there,
here,
put that
as
in
soon as
there."
we're done here, I'm gonna pull it up and take a look because I'm heavily interested. I was already interested in getting Slime VR trackers anyway because you can kind of see as I'm going throughout the show, my body just decides to, go the wrong way. I've used 3.0 trackers, I have tons of trackers. I've never tried Slime, especially not since they've changed over the past couple, was it the past year or two, they've changed like the whole UI, the whole system of actually setting them up, having different people actually making the trackers. So I haven't had a proper chance to actually try them. So I want to give it another shot, see how it is. And if the butterfly ones come out and they are what they're talking about, that's a very good option, especially for people that don't have base stations or want to get rid of them.
As long as you can wait till March.
Exactly. We'll see. We'll see about that.